Grab your drinks, because it's part 21 of Expedition 33 with the Therapist, Camp Boogaloo edition. Who knows if we'll even leave camp. Luckily, many of you have expressed the sentiment that you like these camp episodes. So, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping that we get some more information that helps me continue to theory craft a bit. I told you all that I was going to think about this a bit between episodes. I didn't think about it as much as I thought I would. But the general conclusion that I've come to for myself is that I think Verso's probably a bigger deal for this entire world than he's even is initially let on. Like, it's pretty clear that he's a big deal, but something tells me he's an even bigger deal. And that's things are going to get turned on their head at some point. So I'm excited to kind of see what happens here. But all right, let's chat it up. See what everybody's got for us. As always, we'll start with Sciel.
One down, one to go.
The next one will be harder.
Hmm.
You're always so calm about everything.
Is that a question?
An observation. Lune's intense and obsessed. Maelle is nervous and eager, but you're calm.
Why is that strange?
See this. I have to say, I appreciate that there are bits of interaction here that give me good stuff to talk about that I don't generally get to talk about. This is great. Hey, friends that are watching this, whether on YouTube or Twitch, did Verso at any point in time say that her being calm was strange? You want to rewind the video, go for it. Did he say, you're calm and it's strange? You're calm and it's weird. Nope. I'll save you the time. He did not. So, one of the things that you can use to learn about people is when they inadvertently inject their projections into an engagement. So she asks if that was a question. I think that's perfectly fine. He says, no, it's just an observation. He makes a comparison of her to others. Now, in a more objective sense, what Verso is essentially saying is, in my estimation, in my perception, you appear calm. That does not objectively mean that Sciel is calm. It could be a hurricane of nightmares in her head. So what Verso is saying is, to me, you appear calm. Now, she could certainly counter that if that is not her experience, where she might say, I am surprised to hear you say that because I don't feel calm at all. But I also am interested in how you see me as calm relative to the others. Like, there could be a engagement around his perception, but she doesn't go there, which tells me that her calmness is probably a front, or is something that she is not particularly like confident in seeing herself as, or possibly even sees it as weird. And as a result, just by him inquiring and observing it, there's a vulnerability that she fronts with a projection where she says, why is that strange? If you're on face value, you would look at that and maybe go, oh, okay, yeah, maybe Verso does think it's strange, but this isn't about Verso at all. This is about Sciel injecting strangeness into his possible perception when he never said that word. And if you go, well, Dr. Mick, it was implied by his tone and by the comparison that he made. Was it? That's a huge assumption. So if you really wanted to know, instead of making the assumption that he's implying that it's strange, you could ask him, do you think that's strange? Or I get a sense from your tone that that might be strange for you. But you make it about his perception because that's what he's bringing to the table. Instead, she goes, why is that strange? Which is making the assumption that he's implying that it is, which says more about what she thinks about it than it does about what Verso thinks about it. So these are the types of things where you can get, you don't have to do anything with that, by the way. It's just, I'm also just making an observation, but this is the type of thing that you can file away when you're looking for patterns, where her calmness is something that perhaps she has some level of insecurity about, or maybe serves a function aside from just, this is just how I am. It may be something that she forces in as a means to deal with the calamity around her. We don't know. We'll probably find out more in this conversation, but I love the subtlety of that. She says, why is that strange? He never said it was strange. It means she's not listening to him entirely. She's also listening to herself and what she's projecting on what he's saying. And when I say, don't make your projections other people's problems, this is an example of that. It's a problem for the interaction, anyway.
I guess Death and I, we've walked a long road together.
Ooh, I get a what does that mean question. That's so much better. So much better than I guess that's true for me too. Again, the novice response here, neither one is terrible, but the novice response is, I guess that's true for me too. That's empathy via me using my own experience and explicitly stating that experience instead of just being curious about what she's saying. So what does that mean for you? Like when you say that, what does that mean? So much better to ask that question and make it about her. Curiosity over self-reflected empathy all day, every day.
What does that mean?
Death is a friend who will welcome me home.
Cool. You just took an obtuse angle and made it even more obtuse. Thank you. Can you clarify what that means? Home?
Home?
Yes, home. With everyone I've ever loved.
Interesting.
You believe in an afterlife?
I don't know. If there is, then I'll see everyone after death, and if there isn't, I'll simply join them in death. I'll be with them either way.
Can't really argue with that. Pretty good.
It's an interesting philosophy for someone so young.
That is that's an interesting comment, just because it's kind of devoid of the context of where they are. I know so many of you always want me to comment on the specific world that they're in. I mean, that philosophy is a completely understandable philosophy from a young person in a world where people die every day or every year on the same day. Like, and it counts down. Like, death is so deeply ingrained. The overt acknowledgement of death is so deeply ingrained in the culture that she grew up in that I'm not surprised at all that she has that philosophy. So I think that's Verso just sort of not really understanding just how deeply ingrained this has gotten into the culture that they have. But yeah, I mean, that's about as practical of a mindset as you could possibly have. Right? Like if there's an afterlife that some spiritual or religious doctrine or whatever would state is possible, or if it's outside of that, then cool, I'll find out. If there's nothing that happens and I die, I join them in that. There's a collectiveness in that regardless, and I've made my peace with it. I think that's I'm not here to say that one philosophy on death is more important than the others, but I would say that that's probably the most comprehensive take on the shared experience of death that a person can have. And yeah, I mean, it's a pretty pretty cool philosophy for a person to have. It's just funny to me that he's like, oh, wow, for someone so young. Like, I mean, Verso, buddy. I don't mean that in a bad way. Like, I mean, I think what he's saying there is not a bad thing. It's just shows that he doesn't have an experiential conceptualization of where they're coming from, which is understandable given that he's been here for however long he's been here and they're new.
True. I'm not quite as old as you. Why don't you share some of the wisdom you've accumulated over your very long life?
Okay, so I guess we're flirting.
Oh, how kind of you to acknowledge my wisdom. Can you, mention my wisdom to Monokco sometime?
Oh, actually, isn't Monokco even older? Esquie too. Perhaps I should ask them instead.
No, please do. You'll probably learn valuable things about Nevron feet and rocks. All I can offer is another story.
Offering it up willingly now as our boy's starting to bring the defenses down.
I'm not really in the mood for stories tonight.
Okay, now that could go one of two ways. That's either I'm not in the mood for stories tonight, so let's go ahead and leave, or that's like, why don't you just come up to my apartment, big guy?
Oh, and here I had prepared something truly dark and heart-wrenching.
Save it for tomorrow. Let's do something else tonight.
Whoa!
What do you have in mind?
That depends. How adventurous are you feeling?
I haven't been to Wonderland in a while, and I heard your body's one.
You mean like hunt Nevrons?
Oh, okay, or we can hunt Nevrons.
What?
I'm waiting for you to connect the dot.
Jesus, man, she is like, okay, all right, now. You know, laughter and jokes aside, this is not an easy situation, my friends. It's really easy for us to sit here and sort of backseat this and go, oh my God, Verso, you dense rock of a human. She is totally ready for you to rip her clothes off, set the beret on the grass, and get that lipstick all over your lips. But she's also not being as direct as she could be to actually lock in that she would be consenting to this. Like, we have a tendency, there's a tendency in these types of situations for people to believe that it's supposed to be this like spontaneous, nuanced, read between the lines, get really excited, pick up on cues kind of deal, but that can actually be a pretty scary thing when you actually give a shit about consent. Because if she's not actually hinting about wanting to be like intimate, and Verso reads it that way and makes an approach on her, it could absolutely destroy not just his relationship with her, but his relationship with the camp. If he misreads that, it's a huge gamble. So his reticence here and his density around this, from that side of things, is totally understandable if he actually is reading what's going on. Now, he may not actually be reading what's going on here. He may actually not get it, in which case Sciel would do well to say, hey, Verso, I would, if you're down, I would love it if you came over here and kissed me. That would immediately neutralize all of the chicken dancing they're doing right now. It explicitly states consent. It breaks the passive communication. Like, yeah, is it fun and gets the butterflies going when you have somebody who's like flirting with you and alluding to, let's not talk about stories, like let's do something else, like let's totally bang, but not saying that. Like, yes, if you can read the vibes and you have enough context with somebody and you can, and that's exciting for you and you both are kind of doing the dance in it, that's a wonderful thing. But you do, particularly in a heterosexual engagement, if you are verso and you are a guy, you should get consent. Anybody should. It's not just I'm not trying to overly inject gender here, but there is a dynamic here in heterosexual relationships in particular where like there's a responsibility of the two people here to make consent on an engagement beyond what they have been habitually accustomed to push past it. Consent is sexy because then you know that you can jump in. So I say this in part because this is the type of thing that like if a guy like Verso has his friends ragging on him for this, or if Sciel makes him feel shitty about this, it's not going to cultivate okay, let me learn how to read the cues better. What it's going to do is it's going to cultivate a sense of shame around his inability to read that, and it might lead to him taking more shots in the dark when he thinks there might be a vibe, and that's not the type of situation you want. Clear, explicit, direct communication. And if you're like, well, that's not sexy, Dr. Mick, I don't know what to tell you. Like it is so much safer and better for everybody involved, or when it becomes clear that somebody's not getting it, to become explicit. So, I'm waiting for you to connect the dots is not really a fair proposition here. I think what's better for her to say is, hey, Verso, if you connect the dots, you would realize that I'm totally down to make out. If you're interested in it. If you're not down, that's okay. But I'm down. And then he can decide what he wants to do with that.
Oh, you mean, adventure.
And even this, what is the definition of adventure? Like, are we talking about making out? Are we talking about cuddling? Holding hands? We still are speaking indirectly. And I'm nitpicking this because there are so many people that struggle in these situations, and the clear communication is what will save it. If you're on the same page and adventure works and you're able to feel it out with each other, again, that's perfectly fine. There are plenty of people who can do that. I'm not saying that that's wrong. But if you're a person that's ever in a situation like this, and you don't know how to read it, it's the explicit communication. Where Verso could even say, Sciel, are the dots you're wanting me to connect that it's okay for me to approach you physically? You can ask the clarifying question. Because by the way, if the answer is no, and she goes, no, that's not what I meant. Oh my God. You go, okay, well, I appreciate you clarifying because that's the vibe I was getting. Or she goes, yeah, dummy. Then great, go.
You've been alone too long on this continent. When was the last time you seduced someone?
Okay. I don't love this. Just gonna say that right out front here. I do not love that. And here's why. Sciel very clearly now wants to engage Verso in physical romance. Now we know, okay? But what she's doing is she's putting the onus on him to drive that. And saying when was the last time you seduced someone? If that's a curiosity-based question, fine, but that question is very much more like, Jesus, dude, like, when's the last time you actually had a chance to, like, come onto a woman like me? And take ownership of this. Now, what that tells me is that Sciel perhaps has a level of insecurity around initiation, and a lot of people do. A lot of people are so worried about rejection that they won't initiate, or they'll find passive ways to get other people to initiate so that they don't have to feel the burden of rejection or perceived rejection. And so if Sciel is sensitive to the idea that if she was to reach out to Verso and he was to reject her advance, and that would be something she'd integrate into her sense of self-worth, so instead she does this passive communication and hinting in order to get him to take the reins and engage her so that she can defer that initiation and rejection over to herself. It's her trying to gain a sense of control in a situation where really both people have to tango with control here. So this is not a healthy way to get this need met. It might get the need met. It might work, but there's too much responsibility shifting here. If she is interested in Verso, say it. Verso, I'd really like to sleep with you tonight if you're down. And here's why. But instead, she's sort of like cattle prodding him into seeing if it's something that he's willing to do. Maybe it is a skill issue. Maybe it's a lack of interest. Maybe it's not exactly knowing what's going to happen to the group if he does this. There's a lot of stuff that could be going on for him if he's being attentive to the situation. And honestly, again, from a consent standpoint, you want to know that you have an explicit green light. And in this case, you do have an explicit green light. But the green light is basically her saying, I'm ready to go. Well, then initiate it. Be the one that takes ownership of that instead of trying to pawn it off to him.
Not counting Monokco. I'll admit it's been a while.
He's not exactly saying no.
So?
Put a baby in me, Verso, so that I can Gommage when they're 10. I'm actually a bit sleepy. Oh. Of all the choices for me to be given as the player, this is the one I want the least. I really don't like that I'm the one making the choice here. Because it asks too many questions of me. I realize I probably am playing this with more conscientiousness than people who are playing this for fun. And I don't mean that I'm better at this than you are. I just mean like this is a different vibe for me. Because here's what goes through my mind. One, is Verso actually interested in Sciel? I don't know. I don't have enough context to know that. Like, I don't know if he's actually interested in, which I guess is maybe implied from the do you even need to ask question there. But then it basically is asking, well, am I interested in Sciel? Like, am I interested in Sciel as a proxy to Verso, where I'd like to engage a sexual relationship with Sciel because maybe it's something that I care. Like, I don't know. It's just weird for me. But what does it mean for the group? Does this complicate things? Does this... I don't have enough information here. What I don't like is the idea that the no here is I'm sleepy. Because if you say I'm sleepy and make an excuse, what it actually suggests is I would be interested if I wasn't sleepy. So I guess in this case, Verso is interested. So it's not do we do it now, or it's do we do it now or do we do it later? And if you ever don't want to consent to that type of engagement, no is a complete sentence. Sorry, no. You don't even have to apologize. It doesn't feel right to me for them to engage that way with the information that we've been like given about the both of them and the way that it's been going. And I don't really like the way that Sciel approached this, so I'm inclined to skip out on it. Just because I don't know, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me to do. And if you chose the other route, that's fine. But I'm gonna... Now, here's the thing that really is gonna be interesting about this, is how she responds to this. Because if Verso says, no, I'm good, I'm gonna go to bed, I really hope she's cool about it. Because if she's not cool about it, now we've got an issue. Because now it means that the rules of engagement around our relationship are related to her sexual interest in me, and that can confound things in a pretty significant way. So Verso is within his right to say no and not. But I don't like the I'm sleepy, because I'm sleepy implies that he's interested, and he's just, if he wasn't tired, then he would be down. So again, it's like I would rather know if Verso is... I hate that I'm the one making this choice. I really hate it. I wish this was something that the developers would commit to and say, Verso reads the feedback, connects the dots, and decides that he's definitely into Sciel. He's been thinking about it for a long time, and they go have sex in the woods. Like, I would so much rather that be the direction that this goes. I do not like the choice and the way that the choice has been presented to me here. So I'm going to go with a no and see what happens here.
Actually, I'm a bit sleepy.
All right. Go to sleep then. I'll go be adventurous by myself.
Okay. Sciel is disappointed that Verso declined her invitation. That's okay. That is okay. She can be disappointed. There's nothing wrong with disappointment. She can be disappointed and go have a disappointed wank in the woods. That is perfectly healthy and okay. And maybe she'll get off and go, you know what? I'm good. You get to be disappointed when somebody that you're interested in engaging with is not interested in reciprocating it. However, pushing that boundary, making him feel shitty, for the fact that he declined the invite, that would not be okay. That's where you run into issues. You can take a shot once, but if somebody says no, then that's it. You don't push further. And so she's not. She's like, all right, well, I'm gonna go get off, leaning against a tree in the woods, away from the gaze of the paintress, and I'm gonna be bummed about this, but that's okay. That's fine. She's not used to being rejected, but she doesn't take it personally. Okay, good. I think that's an important piece of it, right? Like, she's not used to it. She's disappointed. She's not going to take it personally. Verso's not interested. Good enough. Cool. Despite that, she feels closer to Verso. Yeah. Because the intimacy is not in the sex. The intimacy is in the vulnerable engagement. The intimacy is in the honesty. It's in the, I would much rather you say no if that's where you're at than to say yes when you're not into it. So that's a totally understandable thing. This didn't go the way I wanted, but I feel closer to you as a result. And she probably feels closer to him because she depersonalized it, which is a very important skill. Talk about depersonalization all the time. A little clunky, but let's bang in front of the woman who kills our colleagues every year is a little, it's pretty metal, but we're not going to do it. Relationship level increased. Maybe we'll sleep with her when the 4 gets to 6. They head back to the others. Sciel feels inspired. Good hearty wink. Doom. Sciel, you've got such a post-wink glow about you.
One down, one to go.
The next one will be...
All right. A little clunky to get through that just because of kind of the way that it was written, but I hope some of the points I made are clear. I need my buddy. That was very intense. I need my buddy.
I recognize that look. What's got you so grumpy?
Those masks.
What about them? Are you jealous? Why?
I'm supposed to fly too.
Maybe stop losing your rocks then. How do you lose them anyway? Don't you swallow the rocks?
Sometimes I love too hard. I can't control myself and...
Okay, yeah, I see. It's hard to control.
Those...
What about
You know,
them?
he...
Are you jealous?
Esquie...
Maybe.
Sometime.
Okay, yeah.
Esquie is a very interesting character for me. Because he is this comfy, soft, warm, like floaty personality, but he quite often expresses some level of discontent. And I know I talked about this a few episodes ago, where we have sort of this tendency to engage him with like laughter and joy, and you know, we giggle and see him as cute and all these sorts of things. But this is the second time that I can think of off the top of my head where he has brought up a sense of either frustration or sadness or disappointment about something. I'm supposed to be able to fly too. I can't help myself, and I eat the rocks that are supposed to help me. And just because he is a source of comfort and support doesn't mean that he doesn't also need it. And he actually makes bids for that. And I appreciate that. And it's something that I think Verso sees. You could kind of see him change his demeanor toward Esquie there at the end of the conversation, which I appreciate. But he's a much more complex character than we are led to believe that he is when we first meet him. And it's important for us to keep that in mind.
Seems you were right about these expeditioners. A most impressive group.
They've grown on you, haven't they?
Maybe.
They have. Monokco, let me cut your hair.
Why would I be foolish enough to do that?
Just a trim. You look like an overgrown mob.
I beg your pardon. Have you looked in the mirror lately?
Yes, my hair is impeccable. Stop being grumpy. Come on, let's give you some style.
You first, then.
Don't be silly, we'd look ridiculous with matching haircuts.
Or we would look fantastic.
Fine.
Actually, that does look nice. Okay, I'm in. Style away. Ooh, yes, indeed. This is quite fetching.
Oh my god. He looks like the daughter of a middle-class white family that went to Jamaica on vacation in the 90s, and their daughter got like the 90s white girl dreadlocks. Like, that's immediately what is in my head. Oh, but hey, man, if you like it, I like the beard braid.
Great. We're twins.
Oh god. Urso and Monokco are bound by a manly love of style. Which they would never admit to each other. Yeah, because that'd be gay. As is tradition, they now spend too much time arguing over who looks better before heading back to the others. Okay. Something about Monokco that kind of thought, look, last episode when we were walking around in the manor and we went into Verso's room, that was a big moment for me. And it's kind of changed the way that I look at Esquie and Monokco. So my theory after we got out of the manor is that there is a chance that the world that we are in is a broader reflection of like Verso's world, or I guess maybe but like his family's world, or like the community he lived in's world. I don't know. I mean, we've only ever seen his mansion and his, I guess, his dad, and then whoever Alicia is relative to him. And if that is the case, then Esquie is just the personification of his stuffed animal, which would be somebody that he seeks for comfort, somebody that he sees as strong, somebody that's capable really of anything. And that like Esquie would be, but I see what I don't understand is how this would all be created. So like that Esquie would somehow be like, I don't know, via magic or something, would be created as like this personification of his stuffed animal. Like when you're a kid, your stuffed animals are big, right? So he's big, he's comfy, he's all these things. Like he is what, as a child, I mean, I say this as a kid, I had a level of obsession with stuffed animals when I was a kid. Like this is how they feel for you. They're big and they're comforting and they're available and they, all of that. And that one feels really obvious. This one feels less obvious to me, but there were a lot of pictures of a dog in the mansion. And the way that Verso talks to Monokco is, I guess in some ways the way that like I think a lot of humans wish they could talk to their own pets. But he's got fur that is, I guess, somewhat similar to the picture of the dog. He's got a bunch of sticks on his back, which a dog would love. He doesn't have a collar, but he's got like chains that are connected to like what looks like a fence. And they talked about how Gestrels, when they die, can be like sort of brought back. But I wonder if like Monokco is like Verso's dog, essentially, that has been brought back as a Gestral. And they say they're different every time. That has stuck with me so much. There was a stuffed animal and there was a picture of a dog everywhere. He's got longer limbs like a dog would have, but he's not a dog. He's got the same markings that were on that chest. And if you subscribe to the theory that this is a broader, like, here's what the world is relative to where Verso came from somehow, I can't help but wonder if, like, this is his stuffed animal and this is his dog. But I don't know how that would be a thing. Or why that would be a thing, which is why I'm struggling with the theory crafting around it. And I mean, look, maybe I'm entirely wrong, and this is like, Monokco is just Monokco. He's just a Gestral that happens to look different from other Gestrals. But what I would hope is maybe at some point we get Nokko back and see what Nokko looks like, because if Nokko looks significantly different, that would be interesting to see. But like, I mean, Monokko's not wearing a collar, but the sticks and the like fence posts with chains and the fur and the conversation and like, it's just, I don't know. The leap doesn't feel as ridiculous to me when you juxtapose it against what's going on with like Esquie. Because that stuffed animal was 1000% Esquie. But again, it could just be the other way around. It could be that the mansion is a manifestation of this place, and that maybe like the stuffed animal is just a in-house representation of Esquie, and I don't know, the dog is but the stuffed animal would live forever. The dog would die, which is why there would be a picture of a dog and not a dog in the mansion. I don't know. All right, whatever. I'm going to get off of that because I don't want to speculate on that for 3 hours and be just entirely wrong. But I'm really interested in his relationship with them.
You were right.
About?
The odds of killing Axons. Close, but not zero.
Not zero.
Oh, we don't get this.
About?
We don't get to spend more time on it.
Not zero.
She's mad at me because I didn't sleep with her best friend.
You have nightmares too. About Renoir.
Yeah. He's hard to shake.
Yeah.
But why does Maelle have... I can't get over this. Why? It makes sense to me why Verso would have nightmares about Renoir. It's his dad. I mean, I guess, like, Renoir killed Gustav, but, like, she's been having visions and nightmares about, like, Renoir and the math chick. I think her name's Alicia. I'm so bad with names. Like... whatever. You want to spend time with Maelle? Yes, I absolutely do.
In Lumiere, did your parents choose your name?
Yeah, I guess. Why?
Maelle means chief and prince, or, I guess, princess.
Little French lesson? Oh.
What are you talking about?
The meaning behind your name.
Oh. What made you think of that?
You said you were an unwelcome surprise. But I think even though your birth was unexpected, it was still celebrated. Your name shows how your parents felt about you.
Man. I don't think it's a bad thing that he's saying this, but I also think that, like, you gotta tread lightly here, because you are making assumptions about, one, the dead, two, people that are in some way important to Maelle, and bringing this kind of speculation in. He is leveraging all of the rapport he has with her in doing this. Again, I don't think it's bad, but this is you better be careful here, man. Saying that shows how your parents felt about you. I mean, it very well could just be that her parents thought that the name was cool. Like, oh, we just picked Maelle because we liked the word. Not because it meant anything. Right? Like, you got to be kind of careful with this. Especially because this is unsolicited. This isn't Maelle coming up to Verso and being like, hey, man, like, I've been thinking about the nature of my name and what it would mean, or, like, what my parents might have felt about me. Like, she didn't bring this in. He is the one bringing this in. Which means that he is spending time thinking about her more than others. Which is also interesting to me. That's probably the most interesting thing of all of this for me. Is that, like, he's spending time thinking about all of this stuff and then bringing it to her. Why is that?
What kind of life they dreamed for you?
They thought she'd be.
Chief. Guess they had bigger dreams for me than I ever did.
You know, at the time, Patrick Mahomes was running roughshod on everybody in the NFL, and your parents thought that was pretty cool, but they didn't want to call you Chief, so they called you Maelle because it's the French version. You are 15. Oh my God.
Why? What did you dream of?
I didn't.
You must have wanted something for the future.
Coincidence? I think not.
No. All I wanted back then was to leave Lumiere and see some of the world before I gommaged.
Well, you've certainly done that. What do you dream of now?
I don't know. Still figuring that out. What about you, though? What do you want?
What do I want? I guess I'm still figuring that out too.
Well, what did you used to want?
Music.
Yeah?
Yeah. Before the fracture, I studied piano at the conservatory. I loved it. I really miss performing at the concert hall. And the lights dim and the room is hushed and the first notes echo through the chamber. I can just lose myself and feel the music through my fingers. Every time I play, it feels like my heart's about to break from the beauty of the notes.
Ciel's behind a tree, just like getting after it. And she's like, please keep talking, Verso. Just keep going. Don't stop.
That's lovely.
I miss that a lot.
I'm sorry. It was just, you know. I totally ruined the moment. I know. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Oh God. I mean, he's just. Oh God. Okay. Back it up. I appreciate that he is disclosing this. I again find it interesting that Maelle seems to be the one that he is most interested in doing that with. I don't know if it's because he thinks that that disclosure is in some ways in the spirit of helping her, in sort of like a protector type vibe, like Gustav might be. If it's because there's something about her that is familiar to him. But I think it's cool that he's willing to talk about all of this. I love that he was a accomplished pianist, and there's nothing but piano that we ever hear while we play this game, which is great. And there's other instruments too, but this is kind of a nice touch.
Maybe when this is over, we can fix up the opera house and you can perform for us.
It would be my pleasure.
I want my first concert to be yours. And don't worry, I'll make sure the room is packed. I'll put up posters everywhere in town.
Oh, no pressure, huh? All right. I guess I'd better start practicing.
Maelle makes Verso pinky swear. Laughing, Verso agrees. I like that. Maelle and Verso discuss the first song Verso should play. Their discussion inspires Maelle. Phoenix Flame. Damn. Before heading back to the others. Start calling Maelle Chief.
You have...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Curator. Loves to give people flashes of Renoir. Curator offers you his services.
Do you mind if I play here?
this supposed to be Maelle humming?
What song was that? I feel like I know it.
Yes, an old song I used to play to my sister.
Can you play another?
Sure. We have all night. Okay, ready?
Are you ready?
I am ready. I will need a bit of space. All right. Esquie, you ready?
That was cool. I like that.
You have night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One down?
The next one.
Just so... I'm really not prepared. Okay. Let's see. Okay. Maelle finds a spot where she can write. Spends time writing in Gustav's journal to honor his memory. She writes about how fearsome and incredible Axons are, bigger than mountains. She hopes Gustav's apprentices will read this journal someday. Okay, well, appreciate y'all being here. You're enjoying yourselves. Looks like it's not going to be a full camp episode. That's kind of nice. Do 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 do
Time for swim.
Just want to say, I also appreciate all of you continuing to keep this spoiler-free. Given the fact that I am now starting to speculate on things and theory craft, I'm grateful that y'all are not confirming or denying any of the things that I say. Pure, an outfit for Verso, double braid for Lune. Pure. I want to be pure. Is it Frank Reynolds soaked in Purell? All white. Yeah, I don't know about that. I will take the samurai haircut, and I will take the Viking haircut, and I will take the double braid. Actually, I don't know if I will. Her hair up is just killer, so we're just gonna do that.
Avril, 40th Expedition. Gigi and Edmund were leading. They were on a clean glide to the monolith when they flew into some sort of barrier and just gommaged away. Our gliders are useless without a way past the barrier. Bernard's going to explore on foot, see if there's an entrance. But in the meantime, we might as well make ourselves at home. I guess I'll try my hand at fishing. Assuming those sea Nevrons left any fish for us to eat. Rest in peace, Gigi and Edmund.
Let us get wet.
Oh, man. She's like made out of the, looks like anyway, she's made out of some of the same shit the Curator's made out of. Guess that explains why they didn't just bum rush her, yeah. Can't say I'm surprised that she is as protected as she is, given that she's just as important as she is. All right, let's see what Axon number 2 is all about. You can't dive yet. Siren.
The architecture looks very different here.
This kind of place never existed before the fracture.
It's beautiful. Feels surreal.
Damn, the scale of this is nuts. Look at that. Like you just jumped into a Destiny raid. Hey, you can fly now.
Is she the Axon?
Sciel, she who plays with wonder.
It's so...
Lune, what's going on?
I don't know.
She's manipulating your emotions. You have to focus. Remember why you're here. Be careful. They call her she who plays with wonder. But what she really does is play with your head.
Let's move fast before we all lose our minds.
Whoa. Assuming direct control. Whoa. Hey, how'd you guys get down here?
Good stuff.
Interesting. A lot of red petals around here. I was waiting for Verse to be like, "That's my mom." Like,
Don't
oh,
look at her for
buddy.
too long or you'll go insane. I've seen people jumping off a cliff just from looking at her.
It is mesmerizing.
This dance feels familiar. This is kind of dancing to what's in Lumiere.
I don't think so. Never seen it.
I think they're getting increasingly more heavy-handed, which is, I don't mean in a bad way, with the fact that, like, something's up with Maelle. first she says, "Oh, you just played this song and it sounds familiar to me." And he's like, "Yeah, I played it for my sister." And then now she's like, "Oh, I'm familiar with this dancing. Is this something that's taught in old Lumiere?" And Luna's like, "No." Like she's familiar with everything. Oh, it just all seems so... Which, I mean, familiarity is not in and of itself necessarily suspicious, but it keeps happening. Damn, this place is crazy. Look at all the detail. Holy shit. I always say this in games like this. Somebody had to place all this stuff. Like, there are people that had to model all of these things and place all of it and make it look pretty and make it look lived in and destroyed and crazy and all this sorts of stuff. I admire the people who are willing to engage with the tedium of that. Fantastic. Alright, now my guess is that I have to, like... Oh, that wasn't so bad. So many things too that are easy to just run past and not actually like take a second to appreciate. If we can rip through these, that would be fantastic. Headshots with Maelle all day. Did we play a lot of Call of Duty back in Lumiere? Never heard of it. Call of Duty? Sounds familiar.
Nice.
30% increased damage while having shields, but recovering any damage always removes shields. Or receiving it.
Good stuff.
Like how we're like, hey, let's take the battle outside. I wonder if that guy just takes me back up. But we'll ride the ride. I wish I spoke French so I'd understand what you're saying. Oh God, where are you taking me, bro? I actually don't wish I spoke French. I wish I could spontaneously understand French, but I don't want to put the word. I don't want to put the work into actually understanding it. All right, let's go. It's this thing. Let's fight this thing. Chromatic greatsword cultist. Hell yeah. Thought I made the jump. About to get messed up with all those fields.
A storm is coming. Lightning.
Fine
Strike.
though, I'm quick for it.
Time to hit big.
First. Kills the character at the end of the stage. It's gonna die first.
Danger. Careful, Maelle.
Only because I want to see it.
Blades sharpen.
Oh, Phoenix Strike. Apply. Oh, I can't. Oh, you have to have two in order to use it. Wow.
Take down their shields.
Verso with a new weapon.
Useful.
Good stuff.
I really wish I could just shoot these from like the sandbox that I have to keep doing this.
Good stuff.
Hey, take me back. Yo.
Sciel, 55th. I don't understand. The weaponry worked brilliantly up to now. Augmenting Pictos with music was a stroke of genius. But the sonics have no effect on the Nephrons here. It's as if they can't even hear our music. They just keep dancing to their own. We're running out of ideas. I miss my girls so much it kills me. It hurts thinking that I could have been home right now playing music while they dance. Wish I would have given birth by now. I could be holding my first grandchild. Instead, I'm here. No. No. There's still a chance, and someone has to fight for them. I can't let them down. Drums, maybe that will work. They can't hear our music, but perhaps they will feel it.
Man, they were all just throwing whatever they could at this stuff.
What
Which I
have
get.
we here?
Like you don't exactly know what you're working with, so you just keep experimenting. I mean, so much of the understandings of the world we have right now are because people just threw shots in the dark to wait and see what worked and what didn't. So this is no different.
Oh, lovely.
Let's spill some ink.
I think what I appreciate most about that voice memo thing is that it really does give a cool example of how you literally can't get away from development. Like, one of the reasons I got my PhD in human development is because development is a concept and process that is always been interesting to me. One of the first things I used to say in a human development class I taught was, you are never not developing. You are always developing. Development is a process. It's not something that it doesn't ever stop. It just goes in certain directions. And inherently, you always start with less information than what you will eventually have. And it really comes down to, in thinking about the way that you put intention into development, like solving a problem, you start with very little, and it requires a significant amount of input and experimentation and reinforcement process and like all this stuff in order to like cultivate progression in a certain way. So when you as a person expect that you're supposed to be at the end of a developmental curve before you go through the process of development, you are setting unrealistic expectations that are doomed to cultivate a shit ton of anxiety. Like, learning and development are all things that have to happen in some degree of sequence. And it's not a linear, super easy process. It can be quite messy at times. But them being confronted with a novel problem and then having generations of people throw ideas out to try to get through is exactly what we all do in real life as humans collectively. Modern medicine wasn't like this 400 years ago because we had to do a lot of experiments and have some like freak accidents. Guy leaves a petri dish out in the middle of the night and we have penicillin. Like, there are so many issues that we don't understand and have to build a collective understanding of it, and no one person is ever going to do that. So you have this collective force of humans throwing these incremental pieces of development at this problem, hoping at some point they can unlock it and figure out what it is. And I think that's just, I think it's cool. to have it represented that way. Like, okay, cool, so music does this thing, but they don't seem to hear our music, so maybe we can make them feel it, and then you see what the reinforcement mechanism on that is. It's fantastic stuff. Man. I'll see you in part 22. Thanks for taking the time to hang out and watch this playthrough. I appreciate it immensely. I'm so glad that you take the time to watch these, that you care at all about what I have to say. Remember, I'm just one guy. I'm just throwing my perspective out. I don't claim to be the objective arbiter of truth on all this stuff. There's things I miss. There's things I get wrong. It's fine. Just offering one perspective. I hope in some way it's meaningful for you in whatever way you want it to be. Do leave a thumbs up, leave a comment, follow the links, all that fun stuff. Do subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed to the channel and you've been watching this whole playthrough, please subscribe to the channel. It makes such a huge difference. And any engagement that you provide helps me get into the algorithm, which is a wonderful thing. So please help me out with that. If you're binging, I'll see you right here in the next episode. And if you're waiting for the next one to come out, I will get it out as soon as I can. I appreciate you all immensely. You matter. I will see you in the next one.